Governor Excellence Award has today set the stage for recognition of standards of best practices and hard work in development of the indices, in development, one of the indices of evaluation. One of the indices of evaluation is the evaluation of impact. And today, your impact that you've made in your various positions, in your various offices, is what is being celebrated here tonight. I would like you to know that if you're here, it is because you've been evaluated for positive impact. And I'm proud of you. The African International Chamber is proud of you. The African continent is proud of you. And I must say, well done, and well done, and well done. The award of good work and the reward of good work is more work, as one of my mentors will usually say. Please keep the good work, and please permit me to say an improved good work. As we celebrate the excellence in governance tonight, I call on all present here to join the move for excellence in governance, to join to raise the banner of excellence in Africa, to take up the responsibility and let the truth of excellence be true. I thank everyone on behalf of Euro Anglo Africa International Legal Council. I thank you and you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Dr. National Chamber. Next is the goodwill messages is the director. And coming up next with the goodwill messages is Director, Douglas Development Institute, Isle of Man, Dr. Trevor. A round of applause as we welcome Dr. Trevor.
Thank you. It's a real privilege to come and celebrate the great work that's being done in and by all of you, your and honourable commissioners. I've been invited today just to talk a little bit about the Isle of Man, which is where the Douglas Development Institute is situated, which many of you may not be too aware of, but is I'd like to talk about some of the opportunities that the Isle of Man actually opens up as a pro-business gateway. And so first of all, the whereabouts is this little island? It's 35 miles by 13 miles, and I won't show it you on a map because I'll give you a little bit of homework. But the big clue is that there's one of the smallest mountains in the world. It's only a mountain by 35 feet, and yet from it, it is said in 47 different kingdoms. So to give you a clue as to where it is, the kingdoms you can see from the top of this mountain in the middle of the island is the Kingdom of England, the Kingdom of Scotland, the Kingdom of Wales, the Kingdom of Ireland, and now I'm stretching it, the Kingdom of Northern Ireland, then of course the Kingdom of Man, and because you're on the top of the mountain, if you look up, you see the Kingdom of Heaven too. So so I mentioned that it's a separate kingdom, and in fact, the Isle of Man is a self-governing British Crown dependency. Now, it was claims to be the longest continuous parliament, democratic parliament, for over 1,000 years. and the government was set up by the Vikings in the 500s when they raided and took over. And since then, there's been a political and legal stability, the key USP of the island. So the Isle of Man is part of the British Isles, but it's not part of the United Kingdom. It has an independence and it has a strong rule of law. It's recognised with a stable credit rating by Moody's, which shows external confidence. The island, I'm saying this as a banker. I used to run one of the banks on the island. So the island creates its own currency, which is Isle of Man pounds, Manx pounds, which are complete parity with the UK, and English pound sterling and Scottish sterling can be spent on the island at complete parity, because in fact the English banks on the island are very much that. So they're branches of the large English branches of the large English banks. The no exchange controls, so sterling is the currency that predominates, but it's a sophisticated financial island, which I'll go on to. Although the island has its own government and its own tax raising abilities, it's a low taxation jurisdiction, but it has the same VAT rules as the UK because it's part of the customs and excise agreement for VAT, which simplifies trade, but that dates way back to times since King Edward raided Ireland, and in the medieval times there was smuggling going on by the people of the Isle of Man who sat in the middle of the Irish Sea, and so the English decided that to stop that, they would make them part of the same customs rules effectively with a common purse agreement. And in terms of the other tax, companies have zero taxation, apart from large retail profits and banking, which is taxed at 10%. Development is taxed at 20%. But the island itself has a personal taxation system. It's very simple. There's a current top rate of 22%, which is pledged to return to 20% shortly. There's no capital gains tax and no inheritance tax or wealth taxes. To give you an economic snapshot, the growth forecast is at 3%. Unemployment is way below 1%. And in fact, there are 2,400 jobs currently listed that are not filled. So it's actually negative unemployment, really, for those who want to work or are able to work. But it's a diverse economy, which is why it is a resilient one. And the island's been very good at attracting through legislation, quick legislation, and by the government listening to business leaders to attract not only the finance sector, which established the island largely. Before that, it was farming and tourism only. But now e-business, e-gaming, aviation, shipping, fintech, some advanced manufacturing and niche boutique things like biomed are all attracted to the island for a number of reasons. Firstly, a lot of businesses look at the truth of the fact that although with it being politically stable, it's also very socially stable. It's recently declared to be the fourth safest place to live on Earth. Whether that's true or not, I don't know, but certainly it's certainly lower crime in the UK. I speak with someone who's lived there for 25 years now, and I don't think I've ever locked my front door or occasionally or very frequently leave my keys in my car. And it's quite nice car too. So that's kind of where we are with that. So I just think if we moved across. Okay. In terms of the other things that attract businesses, have been the way that the government has looked to support with grants and loans and equity options. And there's a relocation setup support, grants and advice. The Department of Enterprise supports different schemes for businesses that are looking to move to the island. Business migrant routes, very similar to the UK, are available. And as an island, anybody that wishes to explore any further interest in the island's makeup and its history and how it has attracted stable and trusted business, then please, I'll be very pleased to speak to you as with Dr. Walsh, who I work with on the island. So I hope that's given you an indication of the island, and I'd love to speak to you about it afterwards. Thank you.
A round of applause once again for the top four. I believe he has convinced you enough to invest in the island man. Moving on in the goodwill messages section, we will have African Development Studies Center Director, ADSC, Ambassador Victor Walsh Oluwafemi. A round of applause as we make this available. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I greet you all. Okay, Dr. Walsh Oluwafemi is my name. I'm also privileged to live in the Isle of Man. So, Your Excellencies, distinguished governors, ladies and gentlemen that are here today, the first thing I want to ask People's Choice, governors, Excellencies, and the question is, why are we giving the governors an award? And the answer is, why not? Why not? If we don't celebrate you, who will celebrate you? If we don't build your reputation, who will build your reputation for you? If we don't talk about the good work that you do outside your country, then who will do that? The idea is to see how we can carve the ordinary to extraordinary in you. The idea is to build the reputation of those that we're working with and those that we intend to work with at the end of the day. So we have about 10 governors that are confirmed. We have those that are joining us online. We have those who were unable to come today because they have issues with their visas. But if we have just one governor in attendance, we'll celebrate you. I think we have 100 governors in attendance. So clap for yourselves. So we wanted to build the trophies. You can look at the trophies. So the question that came to our mind was that we cannot conform ourselves to the norms. Let's do it the way we used to do it so that we get the same results. If you want to celebrate them, then we should celebrate them properly. That is 24 karat gold-plated trophy. For those of you who have the privilege to touch it, to hold it, or take it home I'm sure one thing set us apart and say, I've not received anything like this before. That is the message we're trying to send to everybody. That you possess the qualities that are irresistible and yet hard to find among other countries in your country. So clap for yourselves. See, there are differences when you be celebrated by your people. They know you. They are within your county government. They are within your state government, your local government. And there's other difference when you be celebrated by those who are not within your county government or the state government. So I have the privilege to present an award to President Kenyatta in 2005, 2015 at the Me Africa Award. And Wanju was in attendance. She was the secretary for the revolution government then. Am I right? The secretary. And if you go online, you see the picture of the award presented to her. President for the work she did in the Ministry of Revolution 2015 in Dubai. And today we are celebrating for the next 1 year, we have the second edition of this event. We continue to celebrate you. We use our platforms to sing your songs, to dance with you, to celebrate you, and let the people of the world know that there's a place called Kiabu, there's a place called Tanariba, there's a place called Garissa, there's a place called I might not remember everything. So there's a place like that. And we're interested in see how we can work with you to see how we can explore possibilities. So we said 7 o'clock we are going to start. So we didn't start at 7, we started about 10 minutes past 7. Say, okay, we're going to keep the time. If we have one person in the hall, we start. We want to keep it time and make sure we wrap up everything by 10 o'clock. So I'll go to my speech. It's a great honor and humility that I welcome you all to the People's Choice Governor's Excellence Award in the historic city of Paris. Tonight we gather not only to celebrate distinguished leaders, but also to affirm peace that lies at the heart of our collective visions. That good governance matters, that leadership with integrity transforms lives, and that services to the people is the highest calling of public office. So I'm fortunate to be the president of Douglas Development Institute. The last man that spoke, Mr. Trevor, my partner. I'm also fortunate to be the founder of African Development Studies Center. I've been into policy study and research and development study for the past 27 years. So I used to have a presidency in Kenya for about 2-3 years before closing the office. But currently, you see, we move our office to Rwanda. So our office in Rwanda, Ghana, Nigeria, Manchester, South Africa, and in Dubai. So I stand here inspired by vision that gave birth to this award. A vision recognizing leaders whose impact transcends political titles, leaders who are chosen by people for the people and whose legacy is reflected in tangible progress across communities. Before we continue, I will kindly ask that we rise and observe the 1 minute silence in honor of one of our distinguished guests, one of the governors from Egypt that lost his wife and who will not be able to join us here. Please, just 1 minute. Thank you very much. We are so perfect. As we proceed, let me also acknowledge that while many of us are present here this evening, some of our distinguished invitees are still on their way, while others are waiting the completion of their visa processes. Though not all are physical with us tonight, they remain a vital part of this global celebration of leadership and excellence. This award is not purchased nor is influenced by people. It is earned. Each of tonight's honorees has undergone rigorous and transparent selection process based on research, data, and public sentiment. In doing so, we uphold the values of credibility, integrity, and fairness, ensuring that every name announced tonight is truly deserving. Over the years, we have witnessed tremendous progress across Africa and beyond. Governors implementing bold reforms, creating opportunities for youth, strengthening peace and security, and building infrastructure that connect people to possibilities. This achievement reminds us that leadership done right has the power to inspire hope and redefine the future of the nation. The People's Choice Governor's Excellence Award is more than a trophy, though each recipient will receive a 25-carat gold symbol of recognition. It is a global acknowledgement and legacy, and I want you to celebrate it, sing with it, dance with it. A reminder that the world is watching and that leadership, when exercised with responsibility, has not only respect but immortality in the heart of the people. Like I said, the idea is to immortalize while you're still alive. As we celebrate our awardees tonight, let this recognition serve as both an honor and a challenge. An honor for what has been achieved, a challenge to continue raising the bar in governance, transparency, and service. The citizen you lead deserve nothing less. Distinguished guests, allow me to thank our partners, stakeholders, and the international communities for their unwavering support of these initiatives. I also commend every governors nominated this year, whether present here in Paris or represented by delegations, for your courage to serve in difficult times, for the tangible progress you have achieved. In conclusion, let us remember that leadership not measured by the years spent in office, but by the lives transformed, the peace sustained, and the opportunities created for generations to come. On behalf of everyone, all our partners, I congratulate all our kids. May your achievement continue to inspire. And may tonight's recognition encourage you to do much more and serve the people better. Please a round of applause for Yes. Let's see the clap for this time around. You are clapping for yourself. I want you are going to clap for yourself, clapping with confidence, love, and all that. So as you are clapping, I'll be charging you to increase the sound of the clap. So let's start. Stand by, get ready, clap for yourself. Make it louder, make it stronger, make it farther, make it laugh, and
Thank you very much, Ambassador Victor Bosch. Very Thank you very much. Let's put it out of this also for that one and open to Shortly, you have been address from Dr. Ajit Bashir for some. As I speak, please go. Dr. Ajit Bashir is an internationally renowned business strategy, foreign investment and advisor, a campaign consultant. He also serves director of the Washington DC-based Democracy Institute and previously held the position of senior fellow at America's prestigious Cato Institute, a trusted voice on global political trends and economic strategy. Dr. Basham is a strategic advisor to Startup Africa. Nairobi believes non-profit in empowering youth through entrepreneurship programs. His priority the FDP business development for attracting foreign direct investment. Dr. Basham is a frequent contributor to the leading British, American, and Africa and Asia media platform and has published in most of the world's most respected newspapers and magazines. He frequently writes on investment for business Daily Africa and on the US politics for the UK Daily Express and the Times of India. Author of the 12 books, his influential 2018 cryptocurrency accuracy for a frequent digital frequency currency of the world and offered examining as a pioneer regulator. Please make welcome Dr. with a round of applause.
Thank you. Good evening. I am not American, but for my sins, I live in America's capital. So I can greet you with what I consider to be the 10 scariest words in the English language. Hi, I'm from Washington, and I'm here to help you. Now, this evening, in stereotypical American fashion, I'm taking you to the movies. In 1991, a movie called Defending Your Life, starring Meryl Streep, was set in purgatory, the in-between place after death. Everyone sent to purgatory had the chance to reach heaven or be damned to hell. Panel of judges who decided your fate listened to cases presented by a prosecutor, defense lawyer. As everyone's every moment since birth is captured on camera, your lawyer chose 5 videos that showed you at your very best. These may be from literally any point in your entire life. But the prosecution also chose 5 videos. If they chose well, these show you at your very worst. And both the positive and negative narratives constructed about your life are undeniably truthful, but they are not the whole truth. Never mind whichever lawyer produced and narrated the most believable story about your life in the judge's opinion determined your fate. Now, I just told you about a mostly forgotten movie in the 90s because it is one of the most instructive pieces of life coaching ever devised. What Defending Your Life dramatizes so well is the key to success in politics, government, business, CV writing, job interviews, online dating, in life generally, and apparently in the afterlife as well, is not an objective accounting of all facts known about you. The key to success is the quality and effectiveness of the narrative, the story you tell others about yourself, and voters, taxpayers, consumers, employers, relatives, and potential romantic partners choose to believe or do not believe about you. It is this way because the best story always wins. What brings people together and binds them, often forever? DNA, war, money, love, patriotism. In micro terms, okay, they do to some degree. But in macro, big picture terms, no, not really. The answer is stories. There is nothing in the world more powerful than an infectious story. One like that spreads like a virus. The 2 most popular books ever written are non-fiction stories, the Bible and the Quran, which have sold 10 billion copies between them. To Christians, Jesus' life is commonly portrayed as literally the greatest story ever told. Jesus and the Prophet Muhammad are the most persuasive and tangibly successful social influences of all time. And I know that Jesus had a 600-year head start gathering likes and followers. Both of these religious titans continue to cast massively influential shadows over global politics and culture. Nothing can stop a super powerful story. No enemy can defeat it. Who has the better story wins. It is as simple as that. Now, effective stories do not have to be logical to resonate and gain traction. With persuasion, just 40% of what we see comes in through our eyes. The rest comes in from what we expect to see. In politics, in government, in business, our expectations and our motivations precipitate the risks and the rewards we foresee and the reasoning we apply to them. Nobel laureate Robert Shiller wrote a book recently called Narrative Economics, which presents a wealth of such evidence. He shows that the public's subjective perception shapes economic trends and counts for more than you may think in the evaluation of stocks, bonds, and buildings. Therefore, constructing narratives that feed into people's existing beliefs increases the likelihood one story becomes influential. Fundamentals such as prices and profits, data and evidence, just one part of the actual reckoning. The stories that we tell ourselves and the stories that we tell each other matter at least as much, arguably far more. When it comes to consumer purchasing and investor decision making, no one will admit it because no one wants to appear sound superficial. But the best technology, for instance, often does not dominate the marketplace. Rather, good technology accompanied by the best story wins. In elections, it's not necessarily the best policy prescription or the best party or the best candidate that automatically wins. The best story, the most persuasive, the most effective story wins every time, always has, always will. That does not mean the winning story is untrue or without basis in fact. Some infectious stories are mostly true. Some are mostly false. Crucially, the recognition that stories heavily sway our decisions to buy or sell, spend or save, to vote for him or for her. It is simply a recognition and an appreciation that the relative attractiveness of a consumer's purchasing options or a voter's electoral options changes when the same situation is framed an entirely different way. The governors are honored this evening for their success to date. To maximize your successful government or political career, it is essential to know a story's power and how to harness it to your own ends. The story is truly yours, the story is not yours. It really doesn't matter. Storytelling's power is unleashed when the story is believably yours. Our award winners are no doubt keenly aware in government, politics, and business, past performance is not a reliable predictor of future success or failure. Because without a powerful story, you may think you are strong, even invincible, but you are actually vulnerable, and you shall remain so. You can sleep on a figurative Texas-sized bed with hard-earned power, or orthodox substantive legislation piled ceiling high, or accumulate a mountain of cash. But anyone with a smartphone, a grudge, and a TikTok, YouTube, X, or Instagram account can set your world on fire in minutes. At this very moment, some nobody may be in their little flat or hut or jail cell or parents' spare bedroom, plotting how to ruin your reputation or your governance or both simultaneously. They probably have little, if any, money, but they may have an infectious story, and usually that is all it takes. A story that resonates with receptive audiences so it quickly gains traction and rapidly goes viral on social media. A story that taps into real or fabricated popular frustrations or resentments, all now suddenly and conveniently aligned against your self-interest. A single story and everything you built is lost with the push of a button just like that. Going forward, you probably expect to market your own fact-centered leadership record, your governments too. You will not. Instead, you will be telling a tale, a story about yourself and your colleagues, or you should be, because your opponents and enemies will be telling their own tales, mostly real or mostly fake, about themselves and about you, or they should be. You want to bring more investment to your state or county? You need a better story than your domestic and foreign competitors for external investment. In the next election, you again want to win the most votes. you will need a better story than your communications savvy opponents. Maybe you already have, maybe you already employ a story, maybe you do not. Either way, you will soon need a new one to navigate, leverage, and exploit this new global age of disruption. Disruption requires governments at all levels to act with artistry and, above all, sense of urgency. Competing jurisdictions, export markets, and investors never stand still. Africa's heavy dependence on commodity exports makes the continent especially vulnerable to external shocks, such as global demand fluctuations and volatile prices. The unexpected COVID pandemic increased poverty across Africa. China may dominate right now as the most African nation's top import partner. The Chinese economy is now faltering. In these turbulent times, successful governments should renew their story before they have to, while renewal is a manageable choice before painful radical change is imposed upon them. The crude answer to these economic challenges is to keep on changing. But most people who try to change the world, even just their own corner of it, fail. And they fail because they fail to account for one little thing: everyone else. Accounting for everyone else means counterintuitively, you should stop thinking of trumpeting a big story and start thinking of effective small stories. Yes, expanded trade is bringing millions of Africans out of poverty. But Africa cradles 17% of the world's population and still only accounts for 3% of global trade. Big talk, big plans, big effort have not produced big enough outcomes. Those who think you must make the world bigger to make life better for your people are wrong. In contrast, first make the world seem smaller. Do not focus your story on the global part of globalization. Focus your story upon the ization part. The ization suffix refers to the action, process, or result of actually making something, suggesting a tangible change, transformation even. Master storyline delineated by small, concrete steps that persuade people to tread your desired policy path. Your success will stem from your story's sustained focus upon a myriad of little daily micro actions that tangibly improve lives and subsequently deepen your own credibility as a doer as well as a talker. For example, deeper regional integration will generate more opportunities to climb the technological ladder than extra continental exports. The African Continental Free Trade Association, unified market, will lift tens of millions of Africans out of poverty. On this issue of trade, one aspect of the globalist story is empirically correct. We do progress when we trade freely with each other. But the protectionist story is also correct in one aspect. We only trade when we trust each other. Public trust has vanished, so free trade and globalization are increasingly unpopular everywhere. Whether your focus is exporting, importing, or investing, whether it's foreign or domestic markets, it is essential that you nurture your trade networks with narratives expressing empathy towards existing and potential trade partners. Otherwise, they simply will never trust you. Now, the US-based Heritage Foundation's Index of Economic Freedom empirically demonstrates that countries that support free markets, rule of law, private property, limited government, experience more prosperity, better education, and healthier environments. These countries also tend to produce better jobs and better goods and services. The imperative to advance economic freedom and revitalize vibrant entrepreneurial growth is stronger than ever. But markets and freedom do not exist in a vacuum. And a realistic measure of societal achievement involves more than just economic factors. Perhaps your most challenging task is building the institutions of civil society that your people need and your people deserve. The free market is a vital part of that process, but must always be in service to your values, not the other way around. And this is where the storyline challenges really kick in and the heavy lifting begins. The Heritage Foundation's current ranking in 176 countries awards, if I can use that word loosely, Kenya 121st place, with Nigeria 127th. Both economies are characterized as mostly unfree. Egypt is 145th, its economy characterized as repressed. Now, merely citing those damning statistics is unlikely to change hearts and minds in this room or any other. But your nations are in good, or at least powerful company. Throughout much of the West and the global South, including Egypt, Nigeria, and Kenya, we desperately need to restore trust in the free market. In some places, build trust from the ground up. The anti-free market, anti-capitalism story has enjoyed a heady run this century. The lax intellectual and operational capture of international institutions, government bureaucracies, the legacy media, and the academy means socialism versus capitalism has been more of a monologue than a dialogue, a lecture from an empowered left more than a debate. Without question, the anti-capitalism story has been largely louder, more effective than pro-capitalist stories. Thanks to globalization, the world is richer than ever before. But ironically, support for the free market has never been more fragile. Capitalism is understandably perceived as foolish in many quarters, driven by a global finance industry backed by crooked politicians. There is the belief that failed socialism has been replaced by failed capitalism. A British diplomat once told me the history of the world is the story of great conversations held and momentous decisions made in elegant meeting rooms such as this one and beautiful country houses. In other words, history is determined by the establishment's elitist exercise of power. Please know that ordinary people are not rejecting the better world you want for them. They are rejecting the damaged world they think people in those elegant rooms, those beautiful houses actually built, and the top-down way they chose to build them. Most ordinary people think we are living in a new gilded age, and their political leaders are new plutocracies. They have a point. There are $38 million millionaires worldwide. They are worth a combined $158 trillion, which is 40% more than the size of the entire global economy. 1/3 of that wealth is held by only 425,000 people. The richest 1% in the world and 2/3 of the world's wealth. Now consider the global average annual income is a mere $9,700. And the global poverty rate is a staggering 47%. Despite our award winners' impressive efforts in their own states and counties, inequality has widened between and within African countries. Inclusive growth is what the economists term a reduction in poverty and inequality simultaneously. Now, less than half of the African countries have experienced inclusive growth this century. Nigeria has 9,800 millionaires with combined $207 billion. The average Nigerian income is $2,400, and the average poverty rate in states represented here this evening is 32%. Imagine how high it would be without these governors' impactful progress. Egypt has 16,000 millionaires. Cairo has the most billionaires of any African city, but the average Egyptian income is $3,600. The average poverty rate in states represented here this evening is 30%. Kenya, 7,200 millionaires with $9 billion. The average annual Kenyan income is $2,000. The average poverty rate in counties represented here is 55%. The progress on poverty and inequality made by our award winners is a potentially powerful element of a new story. But a story that does not write, a story that will not be able to sell. How do you sell these accompanying facts to a sea of voters with minimal assets of their own? What story do you tell them that enables them to relate to you, to listen to you, not simply present you? The only story that can possibly do that, I think, is a synthesis of democratic values, thoughtfully rebooted capitalism, and crucially, astute political marketing rooted in data-driven research. The new storyline must also explain how and why the higher economic growth and greater wealth required to build a better world will not spring from bubble-wrapped, risk-averse cultures overregulated economies and overtaxed producers. It requires innovation, individualism, creativity, and entrepreneurs. These flow from risk-taking cultures. Compounding the storytelling challenge is growing antipathy to wealthy people, not just those born rich, but also the self-made. Led by millennium and Generation Z voters, depending on your preference, most political cultures are increasingly tolerant of most recreational acts between consenting adults. Now, younger adults need a captivating storyline persuading them to also embrace capitalistic acts between consenting adults. Given the data I quoted, one perverse irony is Africa continues to suffer the serious wealth drain. The wealthy are living in droves. 19,000 millionaires and billionaires left Africa in the last 12 years. There are 54 African-born billionaires in the world, but only 21 still live in Africa. 70,000 skilled professionals leave each year for alleged better opportunity for this. The conundrum for those is a new story. It's any story that speaks to the non-wealthy, that feels their economic pain, to simultaneously make Africa more attractive to the very wealthy by incentivizing those successful professionals to remain on their home continent beach and the wealthy to spend and invest their money at home. But just the lack of political competition harms voters, a lack of jurisdictional competition harms taxpayers, a lack of marketplace competition hurts consumers, and a lack of business competition hurts workers. To tell a compelling tale about breaking up monopolies and encouraging real competition, even if initially you achieve only limited policy success, the voters will nonetheless see you as someone on their side who actually sees them, understands them, respects them, and gets the challenges of their daily lives. And they will not forget it. They will not forget you. And deregulate your citizens' personal lives too. People everywhere are tired. Politicians are telling them what they can and cannot do and say, especially regarding food they eat, events they consume, financial instruments they use, and the political freedom they exercise. A prescription of individual empowerment and commensurate responsibility. Everyone simply leaves everyone else alone will be a potent new storyline. It will find a receptive home among consumers, investors, and voters, who, by the way, are almost everyone. Africa attracts only 6% of global foreign investment. Her share is far below the continent's enormous resource-rich demographic potential. Which tells you that Africa's investment story is not simply insufficient, but also inadequate to the task. Africa should be an extremely attractive investment destination. Africa's population will double in the next 25 years. The urbanizing population, vast consumer marketplace could attract enormous capital, goods capital, consumer goods capital, and investment in technology. Foreign investors are reducing their reliance on the volatile commodity markets in underpin extractive industries like oil, gas, and minerals. They're shifting to extractive services, technology, and green energy. For respective states and counties are individually right to the cornucopia of eclectic investment opportunities, which is the glass half full approach, because something really needs to change. In East Africa, the investment flowing into Uganda, Tanzania, and Ethiopia dwarfs investment in Kenya. West Africa, investment flows into Nigeria and plateau. So how do you claim the largest slice of the foreign investment pie? AI and cryptocurrency are very high up the list of foreign investment storylines my colleagues and I have brainstormed. For example, to make AI sellable both internal and external investors and the domestic population, pure digital sovereignty, and to power sustainable development. In Africa's AI story could stress the homegrown AI rooted in Africa's own respect for cultural values and mathematical traditions. Now, political disruptions and widespread chaotic consequences of economic disruption. In this age of political disruption, art and the science of government requires leaders to adjust their operating procedures, account for context, and to account for political, economic, and technological change, and to apply these adjustments artfully. Now, what you may wonder, what disruptive things do people tell us as being in the polling business every day in answering our opinion poll many Western nations. The polling can be previously conducted in India. It is best summarized with a quote from the punk rocker Johnny Rotten, the iconic Sex Pistols, who said the following: "You ever get the feeling you've been cheated? How do you respond to this? How do you respond to this widespread, deeply held belief that political and financial systems are rigged against ordinary people? What story can you tell the people? What story can you tell the people might or just might find plausible, let alone persuasive? But now and for the foreseeable future, the data is incredibly clear. Critical mass of people is voting for control, for borders that function, energy policy grounded in reality, for politicians that serve them, not lecture and look down upon them. Most desire are stable prices and real wage increases, secure homes, safe streets and neighborhoods. Most of these people still vote, even though many believe elections change nothing, because the storyline they follow tells them real power belongs to bureaucrats, commissions, and courts nobody voted for. Disaffected, disappointed, cynical majorities around the world know you are the elite. But here's the key, here's the magic, secret sauce. You may be the elite and they know it, but you don't have to be the establishment. This has been central to Donald Trump's marketing magic. Your story could position you as a catalyst for tangible reform. Do not disparage or dismiss disruption. Embrace it, wrap your arms around it, own it. Its counterintuitive potential is to renew, not crudely to replace the status quo. Of course, that requires reforming many of the establishments offered by local, national, and global institutions. As I said earlier, the globalist story about trade may be correct in macro terms at least, but the globalist story is wrong about democracy. More democracy, not less, is needed to achieve their and perhaps your broader goals. If governments around the world continue rejecting the citizens' decisions to empower themselves through democratic means, what other non-violent ways to achieve better lives leave? Political cultures that embrace self-determination tend to thrive. Some storyline elements could empower citizens as voting consumers and taxpayers. If you do so adeptly, their levels of angst will lessen. They grow in confidence and grow in self-respect. It is crucial the story explicitly acknowledges something fundamental about the current crop of ascendant populist leaders. The Trumps, Farages, Le Pens, Biden, Wilders, Maloney, Bonds, Bolsonaro, Bukele, Tinubu, Fingers, and Sisi's. Each one of these actual or would-be government leaders is or was the expression of political revolt. None of them, despite what some of them may try to tell you, none of them is the source of that revolt itself. Ordinary people are not ideological. For today's most pressing political questions are not about left versus right. Those who see politics as a contest between long overdue democracy has failed, I suggest to you this evening he was right. The 19th century French poet Charles Baudelaire wrote, "The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he did not exist." Perhaps one of the greatest tricks Western governments ever pulled, or stories they ever told, was convincing Africans they could not resist the collective West's economic, military, and cultural dominance. Today, the greatest trick the collective West is trying to pull, perhaps, is persuading Africans they cannot reform themselves, enrich themselves, empower themselves, without again ceding de facto control to particular Western political, financial, and military interests. The late French President Jacques Chirac, I'm now on a roll, as you can hear, according to C. Frenchman, said, "Politics is not only the art of the possible, it is also the art of making possible what is necessary." You are the architects of your own policy solutions. Your impressive record in government in repeatedly making possible what is necessary is you writing your impressive autobiography in real time. It is the legacy you will leave to future generations. It is how those who follow you, follow in your footsteps, possibly stand even on your shoulders, will remember you. It is about how you go about, dare I say, defending your life. But unlike Meryl Streep, it is in your power to increase the number of positive and negative retrospectives, the ratio of positive and negative retrospectives shown and judged by your contemporaries and eventually by history. I will end this evening with two disarmingly simple truths. A politically incorrect truth is that history, the story of our journeys, our battles, our triumphs, our failures, our joys, our losses, is written by the winners. Always has been, always will be. To the governors here this evening, you are truly winners, literally and figuratively. But be very, very glad you won. It beats the alternative. A politically inconvenient truth, to Western ears at least, is Africa is your continent to nurture, not ours to flirt with then abandon. Your iconic, amazing parts of North, West, and East Africa are your states, your counties to shepherd. They are not ours to exploit. I respectfully recommend when you return home, you remind yourselves and the people you conscientiously represent and serve, you and they together are the true, genuine co-authors of the rest of Africa's story. Only you can write the next chapter, and only you should and only you can ensure a favorable outcome and facilitate a fitting ending to your very own story. In that noble endeavor, I wish each one of you Godspeed. Thank you.
A round of applause for beginning for the event. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. Thank you very much, Dr. Fashion. Thank you very much. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, who can celebrate Africa better, if not Africans? Who can celebrate Africans better, if not Africans? We are Africans, and it's time for Africa. And right now, we have one of our very own. She's a wonderful singer, and she's here to give us a rendition. But before that, with patience, we should give our audience something to think about, or something to, keep the moment going. So we have a song, and because we're Africans, and yes, we know it's time for Africa, so we have just one particular song that brings us together. And what song is that? Perhaps it's a song you know. Can you guess? It's time for Africa! Let's help me drive the DJ. Let's give it up for the DJ. Make sure the title is right. Make sure that African energy you give me so down, choosing your ground. Make yourself up and dust yourself off and you can sound. You're in the wrong, and you're gonna change. You know it's here. Yeah, stop. And let it go, and I shall go face. I'm trying to find it out. Yeah, can you believe it? You keep on me. I show you how to get it. It's time for us to It's time for Africa. Thank you. Your Excellency, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, you did very well. You did very well, and an applause for yourself, please. Applause for yourself, please. Thank you. Thank you very much. And right now, moving on with our featured artist, whose name is Blessing Ivy, is the composer of My Africa, a powerful anthem that celebrates the potential, resilience, and richness of the African continent. Blessed Ivy has performed My Africa at notable events, including UNESCO's Kiswahili Day, the closing ceremony of the Olympic African Village, the Soiree for Green Africa, the fifth edition of Champagne Museum Makiva, the Africa Week Gala at UNESCO, Cité University, 100 years anniversary, and many more events. She was also invited to the African Union to perform the Africa Celebrates, further affirming the anthem's growing impact. Please let's make welcome with an applause. Blessing Ivy. An applause. When you see me, I am grateful. Makes me feel and waiting for your grace. See my America, they sweet people, you don't tell. Waiting on the see my Next time, I want the beat to be lower, please. I think it's too high. So I'm going to sing it, but I don't know if you guys understand the wordings of the song. It says, Africa is the continent with the youngest generation in the world. So with Africa having the youngest generation in the world, we have so much potential. And having governors here today to celebrate them really is a great initiation because it's going to encourage more politicians, more leaders to do more. The youth are ready, but those in the power have to empower. So my Africa is a song that celebrates the beauty of Africa. Like, hey, Kenya is a very beautiful place. Africa is beautiful. So this song highlights the beauty of Africa and the potential of Africa. So as I sing it, I just want you to please meditate on the word. That is the goal of the song, to really highlight the beauty and the potential of Africa. So please let's play it to me, but please the music not so loud. A place where the land is free, where beauty is seen. My Africa, a place where people will possession, waiting for your soon want to take. My Africa, place where beauty is seen. I
Videographer, the photographer. Yes. Okay.
Around of applause. Yeah. Thank you so much. That is all. That's to full presentation of my discussing different. And I see there is time for Africa. And moving on right now in this prestigious event, we'll be having the award presentation. And I would like to call on the following people to come up to present the award. And allow me to please task you a bit, because here in this event, we will need you to bring out more applause from your reservoir of applause. So as I call the following people, I will need you to give a round of applause for them. I'm calling first up Dr. Basham. A round of applause. Keep it going, keep it going, keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. A round of applause. A round of applause. A round of applause. Thank you. Thank you, sir. And up next, I will call Dr. Ellen Counts. Dr. Ellen Counts. A round of applause and get here. Please get here. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. Thank you. Next, I will call Dr. Trevor. Dr. Trevor. Dr. Trevor of the High American Institute. Round of applause to get here. Thank you, Dr. Trevor. And to head this session, I will call on Ambassador Victor Femiwong. Round of applause. Yes, keep it going. Let's keep it going. Keep it going. Let's not be tired. Till it gets here, till it gets here. And to accompany me right now is Dr. Idahosa. Let's give a round of applause for me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This is the reason why we're here to celebrate the very best in Africa, people who are touch communities, touch lives. And first here is evening of celebration and recognition. We will honor His Excellency Senator Malam Al-Karim Mohammed for an award.
Sir, the video said it all, so I will say nothing except congratulations. Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Even though I am collecting this on behalf of my principal, I feel highly elated by the recognition given to him from far away Europe. It shows that when you do good things, the world is watching. And when you do bad things, the world is also watching. My principal has served in the civil service for about 25 years. He served as a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He served as a minister of Abuja, that is the mayor, for 5 years. And now he's a second term governor in Bauchi State. I think the commentary has highlighted some of the things we consider as an achievement. But I think one thing I will say is that he wanted to be here himself. But because he's still the chairman of the PDP Governors Forum, he is now the face of the opposition. And in democracy, we need opposition, constructive opposition, so that we will have a vibrant democracy. Those who spoke here, our resource persons, have spoke very well about the importance of leadership and credible leadership. So His Excellency is very grateful. This will not be taken for granted. What I will tell you about him is when he appointed me as a commissioner, he never saw me. I didn't know that my appearances on TV and my writings he was reading. And when he became governor, he called me. I thought he called to reprimanded me for criticizing President Jonathan then. But he said, I want you to work with me. Since you know the problems, come and be part of the solution. I worked as a commissioner for 2 years, and I have worked as a chief of staff for 4 years. And I was never recommended to him by anyone. He had hunted me. I was not the only one. Eric standing there is one of the people he also recruited from the US. He all brought us back to Africa, to Nigeria to work. So sometimes when we judge our countries, we tend to judge countries at large. But when you disaggregate at some national level, there are so many subnational governments.
at the provincial and state level that are doing good. And I think it is a cluster of this small island of good governance and prosperity that will make Africa and African countries great. Finally, I will not be fair to stepping out of this space without announcing that in Bauchi, one of the most safe, peaceful states in Nigeria, we are hosting our investment summit in October. And His Excellency has asked me to invite those of you that are interested in solid minerals, in oil and gas, in hospitality and tourism, in actually different sections of the Bauchi, we have a ranking of ease of doing business that is very favorable, and we believe that if you come, you will add value to what they are doing. I think it's all of us, and all of you, if you have a great forum that is in the government, and I hope this will not be the last competition. You get to see each other, get more, collaborate, go out for the state.
All right, move on with the award presentation. Your Excellency, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I believe we are not silent. So please, I want to give us give a round of applause for Ahmed Mohammed Kanavi, Governor of the Red Sea. Please just give him a round of applause. Ahmed Mohammed Kanavi, Governor of the Red Sea. All right, he's not perfectly here, and then we move on to the next awardee. In person of His Excellency Fernandez O. Barasa, Governor, Kakamega County, Kenya.
Yeah, also sometimes in a special way I appreciate the organization presence because it's very rare for us to think that in my home country it's a restaurant and the education with people because being the best government experience in terms of infrastructure, I want to appreciate the opportunity for it was by the other identity. By these, the driver was associated with the problem infrastructure, you can find that I can you can drive the and we have to be for the people, in terms of the people, you have to be alone, you have to be political, you have to engage, you have to be maintenance for, you have to structuring, you have to understanding for the party, you have to be certain things, very about the power, and then other things. I want to especially in data. It has given the impetus to me to the transport, the level that people care and good care of the global health. So I say thank you very much and I look at the people.
Congratulations, Your Excellency. A round of applause again and for Excellency. A round of applause to moving on to the next awardee. Your Excellency, President over Central Government of Pennsylvania County, and but it's still extended and infrastructure development stage. Moving on, we will have His Excellency Jeremiah Yomokai, Governor of Pennsylvania County, Canada. His Excellency, Excellency, Social Welfare of all the we want to welcome them. Governor, and congratulations to Lizzie. That's Sean. We're very honored to be a contributing to share with all of your experience and all of your like to hear from you. Thank you very much.
I don't think this dynasty one, but that I don't think very vicious events. This is something that happened against the problem of Canada. The elder most of it because this is my first knowledge. None of the different values. So I want to say that probably landed she was wanted to teach you comparison in the past. I don't know if it is most is I think that there is both in the northwestern African and Florida island for respect to the in and when I come to the city, one remains sometimes with the so if you take the focus, in fact, you can account to the that is completely better that and completely very
It is something that I compare with the divide. That is that the utility could very in 30 seconds. I think it should be very looking what is talking about accounting. We're going to come to the value now. So we are the recipient of this from the labor. We got the three countries. Uganda, South Sudan, and Djibouti. And because of this difference to other members of the world, we receive this and we are we give them opportunities to also to get a second one. We did to balance. I think we really just thing to sort of like the system and attention. We are trying to set up very good foundation. Put more cover as well as those money, private to them. Really, should want people to come to get work because if the time and in order to solve the issues, not as provided a lot of company analyze so we don't receive like from some, but we are to we consider that to we explore we are familiar, but we started not some of them, but the value has not been exploited. And we are putting the accounting the oil in Canada. So very good to start commercializing our oil and we can use it on the oil. Get the classic culture. Last year, we don't have done very everything. So that comes in different positions. The father of life. Of course, the very important is the father that comes in. Even though we have France, those will come from Liverpool. I am their government. Because as the governor comes that has been sustained to orientate every manage. We are making all the information it's like another substance for the one. They all of you have to do that. So the government is that of problem. And one way to see that I can give you investing an invention for Pomodoro. Pomodoro is an event that is invented area and the president of the event would be an international celebration where we celebrate the power of humanity. So we will like about getting to the part of the day. So we went on to thank you.
Thank you. A round of applause for all Yes. Moving on, the next awardee, who is the governor of Garrison County, Mr. Canyon. Excellent for the Java Eden. So, things that they get consumers award from the round of applause. Can we give a round of applause?
So many congratulations. I'm strong out there. You're really, that's such a wonderful solution. Let's be honest, there's a good back on the lots of the work. Yeah, more, it's good to more set for everybody. You actually appreciate and thank the organizers of this great ceremony for finding out what we need related to our culture of this. It is definitely a lesson of actually they were able to see the opportunities of the room. I knew I was doing something. I knew they were doing something all the way. And I think somebody is Europe, integrated, one shot, just when we're delivering, to be able to do the same. Because I wanted to authenticate of the good channel. And these are what we don't have to recognize the people just the community. I don't think it's one to it's true that we did a lot over the past few years in the students. We believe in the neighbor side. We never be extremely difficult. Nevertheless, we try and make it. And we given the kind of event, we really need to read people from people. Thank you very much. We say, I have some, okay. Thank you very much. Congratulations once again. And the next award will be is the governor of Consider Kenya. His Excellency Mohammed Hassan Khalid.
I'm still there. Camera. Responsibilities attention. Yes, on the other the children for I am the chief of staff and the child of the government. I'm delighted from the arts and the archives for the study. And also there I have a global work of here. You are the best and to be the target and we have beaten South Africa, Australia, and then about the main of in Africa. And today is also celebrating this world. And I dedicate this to all our teachers and other childhood centers and also my German who has such an institution partner because you very much education and given this award today, I think that efforts and achievements have gone west. And I thank everybody and thank the regulators for giving us support and I hope we'll get more next year. Thank you very much. You know, it's an amazing. Here, Dr. Omar Sagi. Let's take a moment to use activity.
On behalf of the Presidency Dr. Emmanuel Sagi, and the Dr. Mr. Nanda, and the
it can also be the most fragmented as hopefully the children that those people that on behalf of Governor and establishment for our in Kenya, development in the housing development is very important, and we are making it has poverty levels and also a little transformation. So the program is something that we really appreciate because you are looking at the details and how far we come and where we are going. So thank you so much for our us and encouraging us so that we can go on with this. So thank you.
The second housing expenditure of the next award is economic development and job creation award is Governor River County, Kenya, Department of Major Research, Dr. Dato Gary Guna. A moment has been since you is citation.
Was very fun. They're not wearing it. The people that are just paying it for, they can't speak for it.
Again. And the Dr. Nanda, Deputy Head of Mission Kenya, Communication Card.
I'm so excited to just be here and see that Kenya is excelling in terms of development. And in this case, it is economic development. This is the transformation that we are doing in Kenya. And it's a great milestone that is coming with good governance. And it is good that it's coming from the grassroots. Yeah, with devolution in Kenya, which was initiated in 2010, we find that for this to happen, then it is a great milestone for us. And for Tana River, just like Mandela and Turkana, as well as Garissa, they're on the extreme side without rain, and there are so many disadvantages. So there's that struggle, compared to maybe the lives that you have lived, you might not really appreciate what is being done. But for you to be able to see from our context that we are really struggling and at least making some steps in terms of good governance, that is something that we are really celebrating as Kenyans. And on behalf of the Republic of Kenya, through the Embassy of Kenya in Paris, we are so happy. We are delighted. We are really joyful for this experience and for this recognition. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Destiny, I'm waiting, it should be. We shall yeah. Can you please celebrate and keep clapping? Can we clap and celebrate, please? Let's celebrate that, please. Celebrate the good governance. Let's celebrate the good governance of Africa. Yeah, making Africa proud. Celebrate them, please. Let's celebrate them.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. The next award, other governors that are supposed to be here, now make it. Some of them had excuses. We don't call us down, calling their names. We still have about 5 more names. So that I don't keep Madam Helen standing for too long. So we will have to present the last award. This award is going to a man, an apostle to the Middle East and Africa, one who was founding economic conversation around Africa and the Middle East. He has been actively involved in what is called Davos in the Middle East. He's planning another one for Africa, where Africa really will come together of the nation. And that is no other man than the very one, the storyteller, the one who delivered the keynote address this evening. Dr. Passion. Put your hands together for me. From Davos in the desert to Davos in Africa. Dr. Bashi, thank you for the good work you do.
We just want to take photographs quickly. All the awardees, we would like you to come with your trophies so that we can take group photographs together to commemorate this event. And after that, the awardees can have photographs with their families and their loved ones. Please, awardees, come forward with your trophies. Well-deserved trophies. Thank you so much. That's so much. You know, everyone's you it's serious. We're getting to see this is an hour. Trying to just Right. That's celebrating our good governance. Yeah, that's celebrating our good governance. Africa good governance. Africa is going forward. We are moving forward. Yeah. It's so much fun. Let's celebrate. Let's go in Africa tonight. Africa, let's celebrate the right forest. Let's go. Okay. Let's celebrate out. We're celebrating our governor tonight. Hey. Africa is going forward. Africa tonight. Hey. Let's go. Let's because now the way they look you, all this thing they go for the
Thank you.